Hello and welcome. You're watching UATV News with me, Ksenia Buhai. First, this hour, the latest developments. The head of the OSCE called on to open all entry-exit checkpoints in Donbas. Swedish Foreign Minister Ann Linde expressed concern about the aggravation of the situation along the contact line and welcomed the successful crossing of the Shastia checkpoint by a humanitarian convoy. She noted that only the observance of the ceasefire will ease the humanitarian situation in the region. Concerned about recent reports of casualties in eastern Ukraine, it's vital to consolidate and build on ceasefire to ease humanitarian situation. I welcome that aid convoy could cross in Shastia on Monday. There is a need to open all crossing points on both sides, also for civilians. In turn, the United Kingdom condemned the militarization of the Crimea, the waters of the Azov and Black Seas, by Russia. This was stated by the head of the British delegation speaking at the OSCE Permanent Council. According to him, the UK does not recognize the occupation of the peninsula. Also, the representative of Great Britain accused the Russian authorities of Crimea of constantly increasing restrictions on education in the Crimean Tatar and Ukrainian languages and called on Kremlin to stop persecuting Crimeans on political and religious grounds.
Ukrainians, Crimean Tatars and other ethnic and religious groups also continue to face cultural discrimination. Education in Ukrainian and Crimean Tatar languages is being even more restricted. Despite a 2017 International Court of Justice order that the Mejlis should be allowed to resume its activities, the organization remains banned in Crimea. We call on Russia to uphold this international ruling and to immediately end its persecution of the Crimean Tatar community, Ukrainians and all ethnic and religious communities in illegally annexed Crimea.
Ukraine needs the support of international partners to achieve peace in Donbas more than ever. This was stated by head of the presidential office Andriy Yermak at briefing on domestic and foreign policy. According to him, illegal armed groups have deliberately violated the ceasefire in Donbas, and the armed forces of Ukraine are having losses. Moreover, the Russian side in the trilateral contact group is blocking the negotiation process in every way possible.
Our diplomats, representatives in both the Trilateral Contact Group and in the Normandy format, continue their work. But we can achieve our goals only with the support of our partners. I want to reiterate that today it's the time to finally say, here is the plan. If you really want to end the war today, the plan is here.
Prime Minister of Slovakia personally apologized to Ukrainians for his inappropriate joke. Ihor Kolomoiskyi tweeted that his joke about the Transcarpathian region of Ukraine was inadequate. At the same time, he said that he is ready to cancel the purchase of vaccines from Russia. To remind, on March 4th, chairman of the Slovak government joked about the exchange of Ukrainian Transcarpathia for the supply of Russian vaccine. The Ukrainian Foreign Ministry immediately demanded an apology.
Slovakia's position on Ukraine's territorial integrity has always been very clear. Respect for international law is a must. Apologies to all Ukrainians for an inappropriate reaction which could undermine their just efforts. Slovakia is a friend of Ukraine.
The United States imposed sanctions against Ukrainian oligarch Ihor Kolomoiskyi. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken informed this. He explained that while chairing the Ukrainian Dnipropetrovsk Regional State Administration in 2014-2015, Kolomoiskyi has been involved in corrupt practices. Besides, he is also said to have used his political influence for personal benefit. The Secretary of State stressed that sanctions prove the U.S. support of the political, economic and legal reforms in Ukraine, vital for the country's Euro-Atlantic integration. For the second day in a row, Ukraine observes the highest COVID-19 prevalence rate since the beginning of the year. Over the past day, 10,155 new cases of coronavirus infection were registered. The number of recovered is twice smaller, 4,149 people. Most of all new cases are in the capital as well as in Vinnytsia, Zakarpattia and Ivano-Frankivsk regions. The Minister of Health of Ukraine, Maxim Stepanov, said that Ukraine entered the third wave of the pandemic.
Scientists' assessments are alarming. The second year of the pandemic may be even worse than the previous one. Our scientists, together with foreign colleagues, noticed that mutations of the virus, changes in the clinical picture of the flow of the disease, and the dynamics of transmission of COVID-19 are likely to significantly increase the pressure on the country's medical system.
The entire world continues fighting against any forms of sexual exploitation. Every fourth child registered in social media is said to receive a request related to sexual abuse. These are the results of a survey conducted in Ukraine. Officials suggest creating a separate unit in the cyber police to monitor potential threats to children. Our correspondent will tell how to protect a child and what things one should pay attention to. Nowadays, 80% of children in Ukraine aged 6-17 are registered in various social networks. Any adult can easily access their accounts.
Every fourth child registered on social networks have already reported that he or she received a request regarding sexual abuse and sexual exploitation. And just 20% of these requests were from people that a kid has never seen. And most importantly, half of these children never told anyone about it. This is a reason why some parents prefer to postpone the acquaintance of their child with the World Wide Web.
Firstly, it is dangerous. Maybe if parents control the access, the kid could use it at any age, learn letters and stuff. And if, God forbid, some suicide groups appear or anything else calling on children to harm themselves, the need to control becomes obvious. Our child registered in social network in the second grade, so we can't get away from this. Well, she uses the internet only under my supervision. To be honest, my children are small. I have not thought much about this issue. Of course, one has to control, because they can turn on something that will not benefit them. Today, a child, even at home, can become a victim of sexual abuse on the internet.
According to the international charitable organization Children's Rescue Service, 70% of children between the ages of 7 and 18 have accidentally seen pornographic content while doing their homework online.
Sexual abuse of children is growing every year and becomes a rather acute problem children suffer. According to police statistics, in 2020, 410 children suffered from sexual abuse. This year, there are already 75. But I again emphasize that sexual crimes are latent. Much remains behind a closed door in the family where children live.
Ukraine is one of the 3 leaders in the production of pornography involving children in the world. According to European Police Office, there are 46 million unique photographs of children depicting sexual abuse on the network. However, sexual exploitation on the internet is not only about the distribution of photo and video materials.
This is not only nude photos, this is also communication with a child. This is also an invitation to a child to meet. According to our research, 24% of the children surveyed, they found themselves at least once in a similar situation. 18% of children are ready to meet, and 5% of children from our respondents, they met such strangers.
To protect a child on the internet, experts advise parents to explain the basics of information security to their children, and also talk more with kids about everything, including such complex topics. Reported by Vadim Kramer and Vlada Tsurkan, UATV News.
Once dreams came true, more and more Ukrainians are becoming participants of the state program Affordable 7% Mortgage. Our correspondents talked with the family from Kyiv, who were among the first to conclude an agreement with the bank. More on how this state helps Ukrainians to improve their living conditions and the following report.
4 people live on 18 square meters. For 20 years, the Zhuravels have been living in this Kyiv hostel. For 20 years, they have been dreaming of their own home, like thousands of other Ukrainian families. Finally, the time has come. The family was informed about the state mortgage lending program at 7% at the bank. They didn't doubt even for a second that they would become participants. They suggested us in the bank to try a new program, which was already working. Of course, we agreed, and today we are participants of this program, and it happened so that we are among the first to receive this loan and expect our apartment in the nearest future. Yaroslav and Natalia are living with their two daughters, 19-year-old Karina and 10-year-old Sofia, in this tiny room. The girls cannot believe that they will finally have a separate room soon.
I was happy, I like it. It's very uncomfortable here. Everyone wants their own cozy place. We do not have it here.
Both sisters haven't seen the apartment yet. The house is just being built. But there is a plan of rooms and other premises. Girls sit over it for hours. They arrange virtual furniture and think over the design.
Here we can have a closet, and there we'll put a shelf for books.
In less than a year, this new building will become a new home for Yaroslav and his family. They took a loan in one of the 7 banks participating in the affordable mortgage program. Bank workers are going to tell us how one could join this program right at the bank. One can choose a city, district, a certain construction site and an apartment. After the object is chosen, at the first stage one applies to the bank with a minimum package of documents. This is a passport and identification code. The next stage is an income certificate, and then we are talking about the credit loan for this family or person. According to experts, the affordable 7% mortgage program is also aimed to resolve the issue of hiding the incomes of Ukrainians and stimulate the construction of new residential buildings.
This will push forward not only economy and not only builders. This will be an impetus for Ukrainians to start paying attention to how they are paid their salaries, so that their incomes are official. I'm sure that in some cities this can stimulate, among other things, new housing. In small cities, even regional centers, there are 1 or 2 new houses built across the entire city, and mortgages can help them renew their housing stock.
Any adult Ukrainian whose age at the date of loan repayment will not exceed 70 years can take advantage of the mortgage. A loan can be issued for 10, 15 and 20 years. The first installment will be 15% of the cost. One can buy an apartment or a private house that was commissioned no earlier than 2018. The cost of housing should not exceed $71,400. The affordable mortgage program made Natalia Zhuravela's dream come true.
A dream, you know, I dreamed a little when I opened the website of some bank, and then you understand that this dream immediately disappears, because the percents of funds are usually very large and it is very risky to get into some big loans when you have 2 children.
Analysts suggest that mortgages will increase the demand for housing and this may cause real estate prices rise. But they are sure there will not be a big jump in the cost of square meters. However, whoever joins the program early will get significant benefits. Reported by Vadim Kramer and Valery Bakus, UATV News.
The best in the world. 4 Ukrainian educational institutions were included in the list of the best universities in the world. In particular, the Taras Shevchenko National University of Kyiv, Karazin Kharkiv National University, Lviv Polytechnic National University, and Sikorsky Kyiv Polytechnic Institute were included into the top list. In total, the 2021 list includes 1,500 universities from different countries. According to the Minister of Education and Science of Ukraine, last year only 2 Ukrainian universities were in this rating. That's all for now. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned. More updates on our official website, YouTube and Facebook pages.